And we live. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Watch Your Mouth Reviews. This is your boy James, where I am here to give my honest review while trying to watch my mouth. Not gonna happen in this video, but that's all right. We'll live to fight another day. Joining me is my special guest, my co-host, Mrs. Best. Make sure you guys subscribe to her channel, but say hello to my best friend.
Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here on such short notice, y'all. I have had the most craziest weekend ever. It is trickling down to this Monday, so I'm sorry y'all getting these videos late, but better late than never. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to both channels. I'm telling you guys, I see you guys viewing, but over 80% of y'all are not subscribed to me. So I need y'all to get on the board, especially if you like what you see, because a lot of y'all comment and don't be subscribing. What's going on here? Subscribe. We ain't gonna hurt nobody. We promise. But anywho, y'all, the Braxtons. The reason why we here, right? I'm gonna say it like this. This is not gonna be a long recap, and I'm not gonna go over everything because at the end of the day, this is the most ridiculous put together reality TV show of a family that I have seen in a very long time. And I don't know what they can do to salvage it. I don't know what they can do to save it. I think the best suggestion that they can do is just scrap it and be done with it. That's how I feel. Mrs. Best, how did you feel?
I agree. I really heavily agree. Um, Listen, this episode they tried to make it the Tawanda show. It shows that Tawanda's the one who wanted the show. Tawanda's clearly the one facilitating it as we're seeing her holler at producers and things of that nature. But Tawanda, in my opinion, no shade to her. She's just never been that interesting to me or funny. She was just like kind of painted as the responsible sister at that time. But I don't know. It just feels like they're not showing us anything but Tawanda or Trina. And Trina's married and in a better place. That's not the best TV. And then Tawana, she I don't care if she marries this man or not. And I'm
Yeah, hold on.
sorry,
Let me put the
I don't care
disclaimer
about
in here.
I don't
You
care
just
about
reminded me.
her alopecia either. I just don't care.
We gonna get into that because she full of shit. We gonna get into that because she full of shit. Yeah, that scene you're talking about. That is okay. So let's go ahead and give the show because I definitely want to get into it. But I want to get to that scene in particularly because I was like, wow, okay. So the episode opens up with Trina Tawana. And for those of you who are new to my channel and don't know, Tawana is what I call Tawanda. Was it Jim Bunny who gave us that nickname, Mrs. Best? I believe it was Jim Bunny. Shout out to Jim Bunny.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So we call Tawanda on my channel Tawana. So Tawana, Trina, and Miss E, they go get pedicures and they're talking to Miss E about her date. And they were talking about how was it. Miss E said, girl, the man wore purple all from head to toe for God's sake. I don't want to see a man in purple. And then was all like, well, did you like him? I like that he was a man. And it was like, oh my Lord.
I do
Really?
not care. This lady has no interest in finding a man because finding a man means that her lifestyle would change because her daughters wouldn't be paying for it. So I don't care,
Mm,
Miss E.
right.
Miss E just seems extra thirsty in this like revival of the
Oh,
Braxton.
give
My
me one
opinion.
second. I gotta go say bye to my family real quick. 1 second.
Okie dokie.
Okay, y'all. Sorry about that. I had to say bye to some relatives. I have family in town, y'all. Sorry about that. Where were we?
Miss E's date.
Oh yeah. I feel like that was just something to say she's doing something. I don't think Missy has any interest in dating personally. I don't think she. I think she wants their dad, but doesn't want to admit it, like Mrs. Best said a couple episodes ago. And it's like this was a waste of time. It really was to see her date because she didn't like the man. She wasn't gonna like him. He could have looked like anybody. She wasn't gonna like him. He could have been Denzel Washington. She was gonna find something wrong with him. So what can we say, y'all? She tries. Anything you want to add before we move on?
No, I'm tired of Miss E, old thirsty lady.
Yes, let's move on. So the girls are talking about going out to LA because they have to do their promo shoot, and also they're going to stop in on Tony because Tony's doing her rehearsal with Cedric the Entertainer. And Tony is very nervous because this is, her first residency since she's gotten sick and had to drop out her last one. So there's a lot of, you know, anxiety when it comes to that. So Tony gonna sit up there. So Tony's up there. She's doing her dance routine singing, and then she's trying to tell a joke, and the joke is not landing. And when Tawana, Trina, and Miss E get there, they're like boo because it was Tony's not funny. Tony's a singer. I didn't get the concept of their show. Has anyone seen their show in Vegas? I know it's begun already. The residency in Vegas, is it good? I need someone to drop in the comments if y'all been to it. Let me know if it's good because I don't get the concept of it. I saw them on a Jennifer Hudson show. I saw what it was going to be, comedy versus Tony's touring, but that's just such a weird combination. They were better off doing like a stage play or something because Tony has done Broadway. So they were better off just doing like a stage play and having her do that. Hey, Shayna, thank you for dropping by, love. We appreciate you.
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree with everything you just said. I I feel like she was purposefully doing that in front of the camera, but then we also know Tony Braxton is just not that doggone funny. Um she's just not. But I'm thinking of Cat Williams' interview and all the things that he said about Cedric the Entertainer. And now I'm just looking at everybody crazy. So that's I don't I also would like to know if anybody has seen the show. I have not heard anything. And I go to Vegas all the time. All the time. And I can't understand. And I was just in Vegas, actually,
Yeah, you
literally
were.
a
You
month
were.
ago. Not a single sign anywhere about the doggone Tony Braxton and Cedric the Entertainer.
Where is their residency? Like, where is it?
I don't know, but I was on the strip. I was off the strip. I was everywhere. So I would have seen a sign somewhere or something in the lights. I would have seen it. I didn't even drink that much that trip. That was very strange. But still, I would have seen a sign for the show because they advertise. Anyone who's been to Vegas knows, like they advertise the shows everywhere.
They do, and it's like it's in every hotel. It's on the strip. Like when you walk up, they put it like by where White Castle's and the Wax Museum is. You'll see it there. You'll see it everywhere. They have people handing out flyers on the strip saying, "Hey, this show, this show, this show." Even for people who are not known. So the fact that they are known and we don't know where this residency is because they're not saying it on the show, and then they're not really promoting it. I don't even remember when I watched on the Jennifer Hudson. So if they said what hotel residency they have, so. It's just weird. I don't know. It's just a weird. But as I said, the show concept is weird. Now, honestly, if we're being real, I think the perfect person who could have done this residency, if they're going with the concept of the singer has to be funny and also be talented to sing and do a show, on top of this would have been Tamar. I think Tamar would have been a little bit more of the gimmick than Tony. And that's my because Tamar is funny. Like she is hilarious. So I felt like she would have been a better fit for the show. These are my honest opinion. I'm trying to take it away from Tony, but it just didn't seem, like the grab for me.
Tamar is very funny. She's very lively. I actually think that's part of the reason her and Tracy clashed so much is because they were similar in a lot of ways. And they say people who are similar tend to clash and all of that. But yeah, I definitely agree with that. It sounds like my husband just broke something.
Uh-oh. Okay, while she dealing with that, y'all, we're gonna go ahead and move on. So the ladies then go and have lunch. When I say ladies, I'm talking about Trina, Miss E, and Tawanda. And they're saying that, we're having lunch because they're talking about how excited they are for the photo shoot and how, this is going to be amazing. And they're just really saying, how blessed they are to have had this, success and how this is, going to continue the legacy. And Tawana and Trina go out and take a selfie and they see this hummingbird. And they pay homage to Tracy in this way because Tracy loved hummingbirds. She had five on her back to represent each one of her sisters. So it was a very beautiful moment. It was actually really cute because the hummingbird kind of kept flying over them, and they said, "There's Tracy. There's Tracy." I thought that was a very cute scene. That was probably the only enjoyable moment I really saw out of the entire episode. I didn't see too much more outside of that. Mrs. Best, when you back on screen,
I know
how
it's
did you
gonna
feel?
sound mean, and I know it's probably the unpopular opinion. I do believe that they are grieving. I do believe they love and miss her. I do believe the hummingbird thing, but it just felt real disingenuous uh, for me. But I don't want the show. I don't. I don't want to see Miss E. I don't want to see Tawana. I don't want to see Trina. I'm tired of all of them, and they all need serious therapy. I just don't like when I see them. My teeth start to itch. I get annoyed. They get on my nerves, James.
Absolutely. So, speaking of getting on our nerves and everything, they have their photo shoot. And the photo shoot is just the five of them. And when I say five, or four, sorry, four of them. When I say the four of them, I mean Tawana, Trina, Missy, and Tony. They're doing their photo shoot in LA, and Tamar has decided to do her show or her part of the photo shoot in Atlanta. And Tony says that, she understands Tamar is a mom. She's busy. She has shows to do. So she really couldn't be in LA with the girls. And then when you hear Tamar's point of view, Tamar is saying that she doesn't feel connected to the show. She doesn't feel connected to the network. You could tell Tamar really did not want to do this. You can honestly see it. And she talks about her trauma and how it really did affect her that third season where she wanted to leave the show. She said her mental health struggle. So she has a hard time placing. So she decided to do a stand-in photo shoot and promo for there, and then they'll merge it together, kind of what they did. It looks like Tamar's there, but we realize she isn't there. So I felt for Tamar, and as I understand, like I hate being forced by family to do something I don't want to do. I kind of understand where she's. I think we all have been in that predicament where we're doing something because we know it will better value our family as far as maybe financial or just being there just in general. So I understood Tamar and I felt bad for her because they really are trying to paint her to be the villain in this scenario because she doesn't want to be involved, but she's not the
It's the
villain at all.
thing. That's what I've been saying. Tamar is clearly annoying. People feel a way about her because she acts in ways that are just not mature for or appropriate for any adult to act. That is true. But at the same time, when it comes to your family, they are constantly at every opportunity saying they're not telling her things, they're keeping secrets, they're treating her differently and isolating her. And then when she goes and isolates herself, it's got to be a thing. They don't like to acknowledge her mental health either. And sometimes the best thing you can do when she had a suicide attempt. So it's like the best thing she can do sometimes is to stay away from that negative space, you know, and do what you have to do to keep feeling purposeful in life. But I got from this whole scene, James, she don't mess with her family like that. And I feel like in her mental health journey, they were probably at the core of a lot of her trauma, as everyone's family usually is to some extent. But I think there's a lot that she does not say, as much as she's an asshole and is manipulative. But I do think there's a lot that she doesn't say and a lot that Tony doesn't say. And it just seems like she don't mess with nobody right now. Too tough. So That's why they
And
struggling because
and
she ain't on camera barely.
and that's how I feel as well. I feel like she's barely on the show. She's barely on camera, and they're making this mountain out of a molehill, saying she doesn't want to be involved. She doesn't want to be here. And I feel like, well, that's see to me. I'm equating this with: would you want to be around the situation that formed you to go mentally unstable? Do you want to be back in that environment? It's like going back to an abuser. Like, do you want to keep continuing to go back to the situation that has harmed you? And I think that that's where people, and a lot of people do that. A lot of people stay at jobs where it mentally messes with you and you feel trapped. A lot of people do that, where they stay in situations that are not good for them, but because they're either dependent on it or they're having someone being dependent on you to be there, it just is not a good space for her. So I felt for her in every way. And I just felt like, damn, like I hate that she did this show knowing that she didn't want to, no reason why she's doing it. They could say it's homage to Tracy all they want to. I don't really care. I honestly think it was a financial decision, and I'm going to stick with that. That's my opinion, and it's alleged, but
It's
it's my opinion.
homage to Tracy. They would play a song of hers for music on the episode instead of that
Right.
stock music. They would constantly in every episode give us flashbacks, but we don't get that in every episode. There's so much that they could do to actually honor Tracy through the show that they're not doing, not even making
I
the
agree.
effort. You had one lousy ass party and an episode or two in grief counseling, and then y'all went right back to your foolish shenanigans. So yeah, there's
It's
a
just
lot
it's
that they
not strong. It's not a strong image or a strong preservation of Tracy. It's just like we're seeing where you guys are grieving, but it's not connecting. It's not doing it. First, you were exploiting her son, but then gets to all of his legal issues and divorce issues and issues he's
yeah,
having with his
and
father,
then you
but
talk
not
about
giving
it
us
there.
clarity on it. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And then you
And then not
don't
giving us
want him to
clarity on it.
film. You don't
Mhm.
want the only reason anybody is interested in this show right now is likely because Tracy is gone. That is the only reason. We are not interested in Tamar because we are tired. Tony lays low and ain't with the Birdman, so we don't care. We don't care about Tawana, and Trina was eating and chilling with Vaughn. We didn't need this. The only reason people are even tuning in is for Tracy. So I expect to see her husband, her friends, the old biker club we saw her with seasons ago. I expect to see some of those people brought back and doing more to like positively remember her life and do honor to her. All they're doing is arguing with each other, but like in this passive aggressive manner. And it's like, if y'all not gonna honor Tracy, at least talk about why nobody is close since her passing, because it's not just Tamar against all of them. Seemed like nobody really been close except for Trina and Tawana.
That's how I feel as well. I feel like that too. And that's a good point that you brought up as well. In terms of like paying, like tribute, bringing out her biker stuff. Like, what they all could do is because Tracy had what, 2 albums before she passed, I believe. I only know of two. There's more albums out there. Sorry, guys, I don't know all of them, but I know of 2 albums that she's had. I like songs from both of them. Y'all could have put like a little benefit show and all sing her songs, or even y'all could have did the collaboration Braxton Christmas songs. I mean, y'all don't have to sing the Merry Christmas one, but y'all can at least sing
They
Mary
not
Did You
gonna
Know?
do that. They too busy painting Tamar as the villain. And what's interesting is though Tamar has her problems, we not gonna just give her a pass of her behavior. But she is the one Braxton sister that behind every show that she does, every interview, she will bring up her sister or play her music.
And that's what it should be, especially if you're promoting it. Yeah. So I don't know, y'all. It's just weird. This show is just terrible. So I'm gonna move on to 2 more scenes. Throughout some of this episode, Vaughn shows up and surprise, not Vaughn, excuse me, Sean. That's it. That's Tawana's boyfriend's name, right? Tawana. Yeah. Tawana's boyfriend. His name is Sean. Sorry, y'all. I'm getting him Sean Vaughn, same shit. So directly there, she surprised him. She's happy. She lets them know at dinner time when they were asking Tony if she would ever get married again. That they've been together 9 years, and they show flashbacks of 9 years. I questioned some of that 9 years, but they are, talking, and Tawana, tells him about, her alopecia, and brings back when she first did the Braxtons. That's when the alopecia had first started. So she would wear her hair and split it in two plaits. Y'all remember that? Because I told y'all, I don't know what YouTuber I got this from. I forgot her name, but she said she looked like Leon with two plaits. So they showed it, and I was looking at that. I was looking at that like, Tawana, you wore wigs and you had added on ponytails to your hair. And it's like, you really expect us to believe? Okay, I'm not going to discredit, because that could have been when it happened, y'all. But I couldn't tell. Because then why would you get extensions, and why would you wear wigs, and why would you? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe because I don't know. I don't have experience with alopecia, y'all. I'm
I
sorry.
actually have alopecia and struggle with it a lot. But I also keep my hair braided, which adds tension to it. And I've had doctors tell me don't do that, but I think as Black women, I will give her this. I think as Black women, part of our identity sometimes is our hair, our ability to change it. There's always those conversations of if it's long, does it grow, all that stuff. So I feel like part of that was her wanting to like keep up with the Joneses. That's why I say I always felt like Tawana is thirsty and was in the past for popularity or to be like, and it could be an insecurity and like a negative trait coming out from her, how she handles having her alopecia. But, I don't really give a damn. What I do think that James said that's definitely correct is I questioned some of them 9 years. I do not feel like Sean was the most. I just don't get the feeling that at first he embraced the bald head. I just don't.
You got that
But
too. You got that too,
yeah,
because he was confused, like I was confused listening to her tell this. Like, he looks confused. And then he said, when she started to explain, he was like, "Oh," because I got it too once she explained it. But then when I look back at those seasons and I'm looking, because she's done interviews and everything. Like, I remember when she was on Sister Circle with her and Tracy and Trina, and they were talking about, wigs and all this. So I'm like, at some point, if you were going through all of that, at some point, you wouldn't think, because she really didn't have a storyline after season 2 or 3. When did she buy? When did she get that house? Season 3 or season? It was one of them seasons where she got that house. It was like that could have been your storyline right there, and your journey could have been shown there. And because, yeah, I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. I thought the reason she shaved her head was for Tracy. That's the reason why I thought she shaved her head. I thought that they all
that's
were
what she
supposed to.
said publicly originally.
Yes, and now she has alopecia, which two things could be true at the same time. I'm not discrediting either one, but it was made to seem like you were honoring your sister and making it seem like you were doing that for her. But in realization, that wasn't true at all. So, I mean, it could have been true. I don't know. I don't feel like Tracy's hair was bald when at least from the videos they're showing us. I don't know. Maybe it was. I don't know. But it's just something about it. Something about her saying she has this and everything. I get she has it. I get it's a very sad thing that, because Black women do take pride in their hair. I totally get that. But I feel like, I don't know. It's just something inauthentic about it. Just because based on what we're seeing against social
It's
media versus
convenient.
the show. Is that
It's
what you think? Okay.
Tawana is thirsty. It's whatever is going to get her popular, in my opinion.
It's just confusing. If anything, it's just confusing. And I feel like, okay, how much longer are you going to drag this storyline? We are praying for you. We know that it is the struggle. I get it. I do. I'm not trying to be mean. I get it. But at the same time, it's like, ma'am, I need you to do something else. I need something else. I'm not going to talk about the engagement. So when it does come up, I'm not going to talk about it, because I mean, congratulations. We wish you both well. Tony's the last thing we're gonna talk
I
about is
don't
Tony.
know. 9
Mhm.
years. 9 years. 9 years. Three
Yeah.
sets of three. Listen, don't you ever come on my TV screen 9 years after you have asked permission to marry this woman and finally do it.
everything that they do is disingenuous. 9 years. It's gonna take him another 9 years to marry her. Watch.
I just don't feel like for me, I feel like to some extent that's some bullshit. I feel like it because I'm trying to go back. When did the Braxton start? 2011?
Yes, I think so.
I think, yeah, if I remember correctly, the Braxton started either in 2011 or 2012. It was one of them years, and she was dealing with the ex husband, the one that didn't work. And I remember it took them years to get divorced. And I remember, I think it was the year before COVID. I remember 2019, 2018, where they were talking about the divorce, and she didn't bring this man onto the show until 2020. And Tracy said, and that was the whole fight. She doesn't know this man. They just started dating. So if some shit ain't in the mix, I might give her 7 years, but I'm gonna discredit two of those that 9 years because I don't believe that. I just don't. Based on how the show was presented and based on unless she was seeing him like secretly and didn't nobody know about it. But if that's the case, then you can't count like anybody who says they were secretly dating somebody, you can't count those years to a public figure. You just can't. Because then it's inauthentic because you had a husband at that time. So that's what I'm trying to figure out.
All I
It's
know
weird.
is
Thank you, Love
I
is
ain't
Dope. I didn't
seen
remember him.
I ain't seen him doing too much. The current boo. He was supposedly like a record executive and he was doing things. What is he doing now? Because all I
Is he?
see is that he is now too bald. He has some strange samurai looking beard and he is extra fluffy now. So all I
I didn't
know
know
is
that was the same guy when he proposed to her. I didn't know that was the same guy. I thought this was somebody completely different. He looked
no, it's the
completely
same.
different.
No, this is the same person. And he was somebody with the label. And that's how she met him.
I don't know. It's weird. I'm still questioning it because I feel like there's some bullshit in between. You can't really because
Oh, you
if
know
you've been on
there
TV,
is.
yeah, if you've been on TV all this time and you was with this man here, you were married to him. Because I remember that divorce. It was either 2018 or 2019 where they were fighting over properties that she owned. And that he was supposed to get the California property, and he wanted full custody of the babies. I remember that. That's why I was like, okay, that wasn't 9 years ago, Tawana. That was what, six? Come on, there's something with that. I'm sorry. She sound like Trisha. She do. Love is dope. You ain't never lie. I'm telling you, it's like the stuff is not connecting. So either you were seeing this man, which was rightfully so. You weren't with your
Wait,
husband, so I
where is
mean,
Andre? This is just like Trish. Where is the ex-husband? Where is
yeah,
he?
I need him to speak out because something ain't right. Because there's no way. Because y'all, 9 years would have been 2015. So you mean in 2015 you were dating this, you were in a relationship with this man, but you had this husband. Okay. Because granted, her and her husband were divorcing or separating in the first season. Because remember, Tamar had put it on blast that he was driving her car that Tamar bought her and all that shit. So I don't know. Maybe it is true, but who knows? I don't really care. But the last thing I'll talk about, because I'm about to end this live and go to my next one, is Tony, is starting to get in her feelings with this. Like you can tell she has a lot of anxiety. The show's begun and they're starting. And like I said, I don't get the concept, but everyone came to support her in her venture, and it was very nice to see. I love that Tony is working and keeping everything that she has afloat and not really letting too much of the landslide happen before things flare up again. So we proud of you, Tony. And like I said, if anyone has seen this Vegas residency, please let me know what it's about because I am confused. I don't know what it is, and yeah, I'm just like, hey, but I want it to be successful nonetheless. I don't care what it is. I would like to have more information, but if not, congratulations. Hope it succeeds. Hope y'all sell out many tickets so Vegas can keep asking you back. Anything you want to add, Mrs. Best, before we go on?
I'm tired of Tony Braxton complaining about her lupus could flare up at any moment and then continuing to work. I wish the bitch would sit down and invest in something so that we could stop hearing about this.
I didn't want to say that. I was trying to refrain from saying because I do know people with lupus, and they do tell me all the time it can flare up and in all kind of moments. So I'm trying to refrain from saying it, but Mrs. Best spoke for me, so that's what it is, y'all. But that's it. That was the Braxtons. I might drop this show, y'all. I'm gonna give it one more episode, and if this don't tap in and and if I don't see something I like, I'm going to drop the Braxtons as a show I recap. I shouldn't have picked it up. I knew from that first episode this wasn't going to be it. But we're going to go ahead and go over to Love and Marriage Detroit. Thank you guys for showing up. I appreciate you. Shout out to Shayna_MCD. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to my girl's channel here as well. As you see it on my screen, she does a lot of recaps as well. And always supporting me. So I'm definitely going to reciprocate that same support to her as well because I love her. That's my girl. She's been my day one. So definitely subscribe to her as well. Shout out to Love is Dope on my channel, always showing me love and support, always here. So we appreciate you as well. And I will see you guys on my next video. Bye now.